So are you sending in like a whole batch of 55 or a whole batch of 59?
So it was a whole, it was for a customer that got on consignment now. But it was a bunch of 55. It was the Robinson, the Koufax, the Williams, the Aaron, and Kilogram.
Okay.
And all of that went in together. And across the 55s, there's consistency from grade to grade. Those grades compared to any other gear that I got back on that sub, not consistent. So, because there's a 61 mantle that went in, a bunch of 59s and 58s, and all of that is consistent within itself, but across those, from cross-set, it's not consistent.
Sometimes
I don't know if they have like
if
a
it's
standard.
like you get these, I get these grade-wise, and then it's different people grading the cards. I don't know if that's the standard or what, but sometimes I'll just send an order and I'm like, these look the same as these, with someone else looking at it different. I don't know. Sometimes it's just like,
So what I've been doing is, especially on this consignment, because I had to earn their trust. So like I actually put a post-it note. This is what I thought the grade was going to be, and like test myself against grading vintage and stuff. So I was either low or right on the money on like 95% of what I sent. So I was happy about that, but still would have, if this is a 3, this should be a 3 as well, type of thing. And it confused them too. They're moving their stuff, but if I say this was a 4 because it looks nice, and I said that was a 2, and they both get 3s, that's kind of weird, and it
just doesn't make sense.
It makes me question what I'm doing too. Like, did I miss something? Like, now it's in a slab, I can't get to it. Did I miss a micro crease that I didn't see? Like,
sometimes it's just grader didn't have the coffee.
Right. I 100% believe that.
There's no science to it. There's nothing. It's just sometimes it's a good grader, sometimes it's a bad grader. I mean, most of the times it's just like people don't see a different defect on the card.
And I handed one to somebody. I sent it a 76 page. I handed it off to somebody. I'm like, I thought this was a 6, and they're like, there's a crease line. And I completely missed it. Like, they saw it in 30 seconds, and I missed it the entire time.
Yeah.
So I mean,
not everybody's perfect.
Right. And that's why I'm buying low grade stuff. I'd rather learn and make mistakes cheaply than try to, eat a 54 mantle or something like that that's raw and make the mistake there.
Yeah. That'd be like the worst case.
Any chance you could just talk about your strategy again? You're talking you're buying low stuff, you're hedging against the Topps Fanatics thing?
Just hedging against, like, if there's any type of rebellion from, a small part of the collecting community to say, like, we're just going to go back to what we knew, like what Fanatics is doing or whatever.
Are you thinking that's more going to be like those from like age like 40 to 70, which have been in the vintage for a while, or is that going to be more of my generation that's like, I'm going to take that and just hedge it just in case this Fanatics thing doesn't work out?
So I'm guessing you're what?
20.
Okay, I would have said like 24. So.
Okay. That's even better.
Now we have a full generation in between us now. So my generation bridges both gaps, right? Like, some of us like the old stuff, some of us like the new stuff, and we deal in both. The older guys, a lot of them just got into the newer stuff recently with the boom. But I have a feeling that if something doesn't go right, they don't like the quality control or whatever immediately.
They'll resort back.
Go back to what they know. And I think that market kind of climbs a little bit more because of it. So I'm kind of just a hedge.
Yeah.
And if there's some wrong, the value of vintage doesn't change.
Yeah. And I mean, it'll slowly
over
go
time.
up.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's not like
I don't mind sitting on it.
Yeah.
If I'm buying low grade Hall of Famer rookies, like, I'm okay if they sit in the shop.
Yeah.
They're nice eyepieces in the showcase in my eBay store. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
So,
but like taking a chance on Nico Horner, like at $110, that's like a lot more risk that you can make more money on, but you're not going to see the consistency over time if he doesn't pan out.
Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still personally invest in. I would buy a lot of Bubble Chrome first. I'm buying Jason Dominguez Bubble Chrome first times right now because I think they're undervalued from where they were a year ago.
Yeah.
and I understand the market's different, but the market's not down 60%. So, and they are. I just think it was a misunderstanding of the new people into the market, not understanding that an 18-year-old guy is not going to come up right away, and they were buying hoping that they were going to cash in. That's just, when you're buying those younger prospects, that's not, you're waiting 3 years and you lost a year because of COVID. So you're going to wait 3 to 4 years before anything happens. You've got to hope.
You're ultimately just waiting for the guy to make his debut.
Right.
Get rid of the cards.
I'm waiting for the talk of him making his debut.
Yeah.
I'm out before that. Because if I sold Wander Franco on his debut, I would have had to sell everything after the first game and not by the second game. Because then he went on a hitless streak.
Yeah.
So I had a 1-day window to move everything when everybody else did the same thing. So prices plummet, and then he stopped hitting, and then they plummeted more. So you're better off taking 80 to 90% when he's about to get called up. An injury happens to the position he plays, he's in AAA and hitting well. You know that's coming in the next week. As soon as they put somebody on DL, that move happens, right? Start selling then. Now you got a 5-day window before he even plays. And you're selling at 90%, right, at that point.
Yeah.
There's going to be a 10% jump right after that day he makes his debut, but you take performance completely out. If I miss, I miss.
Yeah.
But how many times does the market get flooded with everybody that's been holding, and even if they perform, it stays stagnant?
Yeah.
Devers was the prime example of that. Big market.
Does not move at all.
He's hitting well.
Yeah.
He's
batting like 300. He hits home runs. It's not like
he was like 4th in the league in hits.
Yeah.
And nobody cares in a Boston market. So,
like that. Oh my God, who's the new guy in Bowman Chrome right now? The Boston Red Sox prospect.
Mayer.
Yeah, his stuff is going for. I saw it. His base auto is going. His base Bowman Chrome auto is going for double, sometimes triple the amount of a Mookie Betts Bowman Chrome.
Yeah.
It's like.
And I saw the Super's already been pulled. Super auto.
Oh, the
that got
101,
pulled on
yeah.
like day 1 or something.
Yeah.
And the day before release, I know somebody pulled the red auto, so there's only 4 of those left.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, from a product perspective, like that hurts. Like the chase of the product's already out there.
Yeah.
But people forget that the product provides anyway.
So when are you offloading like your Bobby Witts, your Julio Rodriguez, like those big guys that are going to be making their debuts this year?
I have a lot of Julio Rodriguez.
Yeah.
I have big Julio Rodriguez. One that I have a cracked slab on that I need to try to resolve somehow.
You told me those are Bowman Chrome autos that you have, like the numbered stuff?
I have a blue Bowman Chrome first PSA 10 auto. So right now they're like 6 to 7K, and they'll probably be 10K come season time. My cracked slab, I'm probably going to take a 2K hit if I sell it as it is, but it's going to get regraded. So do I take the chance myself to try to make the 2K?
Yeah.
Or do I take I'm 800 in the card. I've held it since 2019. So, do I just take my profit walk away now? But I need him. If Rodriguez, Marco Luciano, Bobby Wood Jr. all come up this year, I'm cashing out 100.
Is that so? Are you doing that like spring training or during the year?
Kind of got to read to see like the spring training started off good. Is Oakland going to make opening day roster? Like, is Seattle known for waiting until after April 15th or whatever?
Like if one of them has like that Chris Bryant-esque, like what was he supposed to make the majors that year? Didn't end up going. Maybe sell during that time, or
maybe
wait till.
I think for Rodriguez, I think you can sell early because the prices are high enough, especially for guys like I've been in it since release of 19 Bowman. I graded everything myself pretty much except for the blue auto, and I bought that in late 19, so I'm in it for next to nothing in comparison. 5% of current value. All the Bowman Megas and the Chrome, I graded all that myself. I pulled it mostly myself. I'm in it for nothing. I might start cashing some of it out and hedge, just move half of it. A guy like Marco Luciano, I'd hold a little longer. He's a little under the radar, but on a really good Giants team. So
he could contend when he gets up there already.
And
like a guy like Bobby Witt's not gonna.
No, right, exactly. So like Witt, I'm moving early.
Yeah.
Like I actually moved Witt stuff last year because I was talking he might have come up at that in September.
Yeah.
So I moved it all then and took the cash out at that point. Somebody in Kansas City just isn't going to sell. Doesn't matter what he does.
Alex Gordon. I'm trying to think of just other prospects that they've had. And
Everybody
just never turned out.
Everybody leaves and does something somewhere else.
Yeah,
but I don't feel like holding for that. So I think Luciano's the better, longer hold. And I'm in him. Like I was buying PSA 10 megabox refractors for $20. I stopped when they hit 25 because I'm like, that's a little expensive. Now they're 140, and they were 180 last year, knowing he wasn't going to come out.
Yeah.
His maturity level's really high. Like he came out early last year. They asked him about a call up, and he said, "I want to play in the minors all year long because I want to get the experience that I lost because of the COVID year."
Yeah.
So at 19, if he's already thinking like that, it's a good promise for the future that he's going to take instruction well and all that stuff. So if he has a slump, he's more likely to be out of it. So I don't mind holding him a little longer.
So is baseball still a buy though right now, right?
All baseball is a buy, yeah. I mean, you can buy anything right now and sell it in 2 months.
Dirt cheap.
In 3 or 4 weeks, that starts to change. When people start thinking tax return, baseball really gets going.
Yeah.
Even with the season delay, I think it'll be fine. It's going to be delayed.
That's the only thing that scares me. Like they haven't even talked at all yet. But I'm hoping that at some point.
That's why I'm only buying Dominguez because I know he's not coming up this year. So I'm still buying it as a longer hold.
Okay.
I'm not, anything else you can buy, but you might have to hold extra couple months and you're planning on it.
Yeah.
Luckily for baseball, it's not like football and basketball where like you have to pick one or the other. You can't commit to both or you're committing a lot of money. Where baseball, there's just baseball. So
and like a lot of the guys you can get in at pretty cheap convenience if you're just starting out at least.
Right. And I mean, when I buy baseball, like it's a little bit different era now because you used to be able to buy and rate everything for cheap.
Now you can't rate it all unless you're buying like high-end stuff.
Right. And when I buy prospects, I do shows like this and buy all the prospects that are under 20 on their firsts, and buy when they're a buck a piece. If I find 100 of them, I get it for $80. You just put it in a box and come back to it. And every year, come back to it. See what's going on. You hear one of them's coming up, you move it all, and then you free roll the entire rest of the pile you bought that day.
Yeah, so baseball's definitely got some potential right now.
You're never really going to hit that like basketball type of number, right? Like, when somebody does well in basketball, crazy numbers get crazy really quick. Even now, low number LaMelo, even for what it is still expensive. You can buy Bowman Chrome Orange firsts of guys that came out in Bowman or Bowman Chrome earlier in the year. Guys that are coming up, they're already cheap.
Yeah.
But Orange has so much potential that you just buy them and sit on them.
You stay away from purples.
I stay away from greens for sure.
Greens? Okay.
Everybody hates green.
Okay.
Green sells less than blue. Greens are 99, blue's 150. So when it comes down to it, people will always buy blue because it was an original color.
Okay.
Same thing with purple. But purple makes it's a color that's affordable to people. When you get to green, like the perception is it should be expensive because it's a lower number.
Yeah.
And blue just outsells it as an original color. I stay away from the waves and the shimmers. Not that I wouldn't buy it if the price is right, but the solid colors are, a true orange is going to sell double orange shimmer or orange wave.
There's so much more learning on baseball. I mean, they're adding in so much stuff. I feel like colors-wise, shimmer-wise, some stuff. It's just like, how many shimmers, how many of that can we do?
Well, it used to be shimmer or wave. Now it seems to be both.
Yeah.
And then they started adding the speckle refractors, and then what was just an atomic is now an entire product of sapphire. So, which adds 3 or 4 more colors. I get it. Like all of them sell. They all, sealed. They all increase in value. It's tough to determine what the buyer's going to want when it comes time for call-outs. You're trying to sell to at that point, you're selling to the guy who still thinks there's money, right? And there could still be, but what's he going to target? Does he care about an orange sapphire or an orange wave, or is he only going to target the orange? And that's the toughest part. You never quite know. If it's a novice person buying, orange is orange, 25 is 25. And in a lot of cases, that's fine. In Prism, for the most part, that kind of works. A blue disco and a true, red or something like that, they happen to number the same thing. They sell within 10% of each other. For waves and shimmers and stuff, that is not even close. And it's tough to buy because sometimes the seller doesn't understand as well. Gold's gold. And it's not the case.
That's the gold wave.
Right.
That's the gold shimmer.
Right. And a gold wave may sell for less than a blue, a true blue, just because
it's just not as desirable.
Right.
Or, most collectors.
There's always learning, and every year they add more stuff, so they'll relearn where that fits into what already existed. And at what point do people forget that green, everybody hates green, and then green just becomes lower numbered again? And that could happen at any point, especially if the Fanatics thing drives a couple people away, and that group that was green wasn't an original color, we don't want it. That group leaves, and then now it's just a lower numbered card, and it falls in line like everything else. Every year it changes.
Have you gotten any information on you as a hobby shop owner, what to expect from Fanatics at all?
No, nothing. Some things you read that they want to direct consumer everything, and cut out both the distributor and the hobby shop. And other things that you read there, we recognize the importance of the hobby shop, so we're going to keep them in play.
So
it's tough to know with the trust.
Yeah. Because you don't have any trust in them yet.
No, they came to the industry summit and said, everybody's going to be involved, and then 2 weeks later they put out a statement that they want to be direct to consumer on everything. So what do you believe? So until anything happens,
you can't make any determination.
The only thing that you got to determine is whether or not, from an allocation standpoint, what do? Do you start trying to get more allocations for a product that may not matter in 3 years, or in baseball's case, may not matter in a year? So, am I trying to? Now baseball becomes available to me because a bunch of other people stopped ordering. So now, as a hobby shop owner with no allocations, what do? Do I try to get allocations?
Yeah.
Or do I just stand back and wait? Because it's going to cost me a lot of money to try to earn those allocations.
Yeah.
So,
do you have any concerns for the products themselves as they shift to Fanatics, or not so much? You think it's kind of status quo?
From baseball's perspective, for the first year, I think they're just going to essentially put their name on the trademark on the bottom, and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to do anything else. I don't even think they're going to change. They're going to let Topps run Topps, or whatever that
and they're
is.
just going to take the profits.
Exactly. All the same products will get made. Maybe they'll have a way to streamline some processes, and the products will be on time.
Yeah.
Maybe there'll be a hindrance and everything's late. Who knows? But I think for the first year, they're just going to let Topps run with the lines that they have. There's not much at this point, right? They lost the WWE license, so it's Star Wars, Garfield Kids, baseball, and F1.
Yeah.
That's it. So, it's a good entry for Fanatics. Yeah.
That's blowing up now.
Right. So, and they were going from, 2 products last year to 4 or 5 already on the slate for this year. So, it allows Fanatics to kind of get the feet wet before they decide what they're going to do. Are they going to, is upper deck on the table? Is that a thing that they want to try to do?
Yeah.
I've heard conflicting things that Jordan may have an out of his contract if upper deck isn't the owner anymore. So I don't know if
that's a big portion of.
That's the reason to buy them.
Yeah. Well, they got LeBron too, but
in the grand scheme of things, 5 Jordan autos available in any product will drive the entire product.
Yeah.
So to get full uniform Jordans again, so even if that is the case, he does have an out. They can pay him $5,000 a stick or 100 stickers on his way out, and put 2 or 3 or 5 in every, and 4 products a year. They can still drive it up for 5 years. If you look at the Star Wars market, there's still Carrie Fisher on, and she passed away 5 years ago.
Because they just have that many stickers.
They only
stickers.
put them in certain sets when it's a struggling set. She automatically appears on the checklist.
Yeah. Our sticker autos here to stay.
And given that we don't know how it's going to be year over year, is travel always going to be somewhat restricted. Our athletes not going to be allowed to leave their teams for protocols within season. I just think that when the opportunity is going to be there, companies are going to have them sign as much as they can and hope for the best.
Yeah.
I actually, unfortunately, think that in some cases, products like Flawless and Immaculate and stuff, we're going to start to randomly see stickers here and there on the cards that were specifically on code. Exactly. But until everything returns to whatever normal is going to be, like, I think it's a possibility. Like, otherwise, you end up with products with more and more redemptions. If to make a basketball product during basketball season when you can't leave the team, and you don't want to bring in any outside people, how do you get them assigned? So,
I think that's just the main complaint right now is sticker autos, non-game use patches.
You can't even guarantee that the player will warn at this point.
Yeah, and they may just cut up a random jersey and just put it in there. So, like, at that point, like, I don't even want to. I'd rather pull a rookie card out and sell that.
If you give me a numbered card, that's far more valuable anyway.
Yeah, and delay times, but I get that right now. Sometimes a lot of stuff's delayed, and then just being more transparent about how much stuff they're printing out. I think also be a.
It'd be nice to know what the print run on silver prisms is.
Yeah.
You can figure it out. I see a lot of people go to the math and figure out what it is.
But if they just put it out there and were transparent about it, it'd be a lot better.
Right. It will affect the market on certain things. Like, if you look at in some sports or some sets, like a card out of 50, prism out of 50, are there more or less zebras or tiger stripes?
Yeah.
You don't know, but they sell for more than the 50. But are there actually more of them? Is it not as rare as that?
Yeah.
So I think if the print run was there, like, if it's going to fall right in line with everything else, you might as well number it at that point.
Yeah.
So if you can think for like greens and silvers and stuff like that, I think you can do it. But on those perceived short prints, like
some are not short prints.
Right, and it takes their allure away if you do put out there how many there actually are. There are a lot of zebras. They're more than than you think, but zebras hold a lot of value. To where like they fall in line like just like select zebras, like they're probably right behind golds. But there's definitely more than say
I've
20.
literally seen 3 zebras just in this row right here.
Yeah.
It's like, they're not that hard to find at this point. Like,
right.
What's the other one? The elephant?
Yeah, and that's new this year.
That's new this year. I know that.
That was just because, hey, we can add another parallel that's perceived to be rare and drug product. So, I mean,
I know they're just trying to pump new stuff out and make more money, but at some point you got to just think, like, what's the best for the long-term outlook of the hobby?
Well, fortunately, I think we're going to see more of it because if Panini's walking away, like you're 3 years away from your sticker gun products because those are coming because they're not going to sit on stickers unless they have a plan to make unlicensed, but they don't have the Players Association license anyway, so they can't. So they're going to dump every single sticker they have.
That what's the last year? 2025.
Yeah,
2025.
So that year.
We're going to see a bunch of sticker autos.
If you're sitting on a sticker Curry auto from any other year, you should think about whether or not you really want it or not. Because you're going to get a product that's going to, where Curry is going to be numbered out of 700. Like one of those one hit for like an archives or something like that. They're going to put something out like that and just dump all their stickers.
It's coming.
Right. So, if you're buying something for a long-term hold, like, or a PC thing, like, stick to on-card right now. Anything else is going to tank.
Yeah. Unless, like, it's like a Kobe or somebody that's not here anymore, I'll still buy those stickers.
Jordan will be okay. He's not going to sign. Doesn't sign much. Right?
Or look for the guys that just don't sign much, sticker-wise.
Right. I mean, Curry, for the most part, well, stuff is valuable. Like, some of the stuff's out of 50 and out of 75 when he signs. Like, they're immaculate ones out of 50. they're on card, so it helps.
So he's got a lot of autos.
There's enough out there. Like the demand still outweighs the supply, but because there are a lot of people that collect more than one.
Yeah.
But for sticker stuff, like leading up to that sticker dump, you're going to see all the other collectors start to dump too. So the slide will happen even before the dump products start to release. So I
It's
just
definitely something I got to keep on the back of my mind.
to me, it's just a hunch. I mean, I could be completely wrong.
Well, I mean, it makes complete sense because if they have to get rid of all their autos, just because they're not going to have the licensing, what are they going to do with them? Just auction sticker autos off? Like, you're not going to do
I
that.
mean, they could sell it off.
But like, who are they going to? They would have to sell it. Okay.
I mean, it's an out,
Yeah.
but they'd rather make the money off the product.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think they'd rather just throw it in a product or make some new products and just
The
throw it in
question
there.
becomes: is do they dump it all last year, or do they, since they have a finite date, do they increase everything over the next 5 years?
I think that's probably where they go because now they know. If they didn't know,
Right.
and it was like the year before, and they're like, damn, now we're done, then they'd probably push
Right.
it all out. But now they're probably like, okay, we got to get rid of this many autos this year, this many autos next year.
Right.
So
we have this many. This is how many have to go in every product every year.
Yeah.
That's still going to be an increase over what's in there now, though.
yeah,
So I don't know. It's going to be scary for a little bit from people holding cards and then wanting to buy cards. Like, you have a sticker auto in here. Do you want to buy it?
Yeah.
Knowing what's happening, you can now ripping product. You might have a better chance of pulling it. So sealed prices might actually rise a little bit because things become achievable.
yeah.
There's all kinds of things that can happen.
There's a lot.
No
that can
idea.
happen.
Yeah.
Well,
But really appreciate it. Do you have
appreciate the conversation.
anything you want to shout out? Hobby shop,
7-Out
social
cards.
media?
SevenoutCards
Cards.
and Sycamore?
Sycamore, right near Elgin.
No, right near the Kelp.
The Kelp.
Yeah.
That's where it is.
All right. Well, thank
I've
you
been
so
in
much.
a couple times. It's a great shop.